All right, Central Coast Champions. Here is our weekly team meeting for the week. Our theme this week is hat theme because we're just going to be going through. That was just the last theme of the summer, so super hyped to end out the summer with the hat theme. Now going through here, starting off with the 321 James Clear newsletter on enjoying your own company, what drives change, and editing your habits. So, starting off with three ideas from James Clear. Number one, there are many elements of living a good life, but the first and most foundational is to love yourself and enjoy spending time with yourself. Go do things on your own so you learn to trust your mind and view it as a welcome companion. If someone declared tomorrow, you must spend the day alone. The hope is that you would reply, that sounds like a good day. The person who is at ease within finds every other space larger and more enjoyable, right? And so really just find loving yourself and being able to enjoy that quality time with yourself, right? I think that's a very big thing because then whenever you take on any sort of opportunity or any activity, right? You're having a good time with it and you're making it better and you're creating more opportunity for yourself, right?
Right. Because if you don't like yourself, why would anybody else want to like you?
Exactly. And number two, second idea from James Clear. As far as I can tell, every great advance, whether in an individual life or the world at large, has come from dreams and attempts. Devise more dreams, make more attempts. And idea number three, a philosophy I heard recently and have found useful. We look for reasons to say yes and only say no when we have to. And then two quotations from famous other people. Writer and philosopher Aldous Huxley on the precursor to change. Change is only possible through movement. And the second quote from famous people, novelist Anne Lamott on the power of reading. Writing and reading decrease our sense of isolation. They deepen and widen and expand our sense of life. They feed the soul. When writers make us shake our heads with the exactness of their prose and their truths, and even make us laugh about ourselves or life, our buoyancy is restored. We are given a shot at dancing with, or at least clapping along with, the absurdity of life instead of being squashed by it over and over again. It's like singing on a boat during a terrible storm at sea. You can't stop the raging storm, but singing can change the hearts and spirits of the people who are together on that ship.
Nice.
And then one question for you. If your partner or your close friend could change one habit of yours, what would they choose? And why might they be right? All right, so I'll give us a moment to reflect. So I'm back here. The announcement for the upcoming event. There will be a few of you that will be getting a text from Kevin Donahue to schedule your TLA interview. That will be done over Zoom to be able to go through the Leadership Academy. There will be an interview to be able to earn your spot into the TLA. Now, to going through the weekly newsletter, the Cutco Chronicles, they went through this last week and talked about they recognized the top performers within Summer Conference number two. And so these were the top representatives. Really good to see that we had some people from our division, such as Joseph Bird from Pasadena being number two in the entire Southern California, as well as Rosie Ibarra from Ventura as well, being number six, which is really awesome. Then we also had Bakersfield, Pasadena. You can see all down there. It's pretty awesome. We made up a lot of those top 15 representatives. And overall, our division took home the top overall office in Pasadena, selling $363,000 worth of
That's
Cutco. And that was with Brandon Brown pretty much taking a break, which is
yeah.
pretty crazy.
I know, right?
Deanna Scortina, we had the top three Titans. Actually, we took over all the Titans. We were the top five Titans. So all the top five Titans,
We're
all
all in our
within
division.
our division, which is really, really hyped to see. So
That's awesome.
awesome stuff. Now, going through this is the Conference of Champions. That is the next big upcoming event that is coming, and that will be happening. And it's super exciting stuff. I'm really looking forward to this event. Just all the fun stuff that we could do as a division. Kevin Donahue really spoils us, taking us out on a nice, awesome party bus and stuff like that. We get to take a picture as a division in front of the Hollywood sign. And we also get fed like absolute champions, too. They feed us very well with dinners and stuff like that at the conference. It's really fired up, and so you could be able to get a shared room of two for $569. That'd be charged to your commissions account, and you can be able to request or get paired with another attendee. And then you also can get a solo room, no roommate for $819. And then if you want to get a room and meals for you and a guest, it would be for $1139 charged to your commissions account. And then
Yeah.
this is the sponsor me sheet to be able to get yourself a full sponsorship. So you can be able to sponsorship yourself all the way up to getting a room for yourself for free, which is really awesome. And so if you want to be able to go to the conference for free, you just simply have to sell a basic galley set. And you're going to the Conference of Champions for free. Or you can be able to sell six of those pieces on the right hand side, and that also covers your conference admission.
I want to talk to you about that more in a little bit too.
The top 15 representatives, we have Deanna Scortino, number one, selling 25 grand this last week. And we had, I think that's pretty much, oh yeah, and then Team Builders pretty fired up. Macy Arnold at 15 representatives have started the job and achieved
Oh
their
wow.
promotion, and so that is 100% getting her qualified fully to be able to go to Mexico City. And then we have Sofia Font Gomez, our branch manager. She was the number one branch office in the entire Western region, selling $7,000. And it's really fired up because Sophia just recently graduated college. Just that, like when she was going into her branch summer, she just graduated, got her degree. And what's really fired up, she's actually going to have the rare opportunity because she was really successful at their branch office. She will be continuing her office into the fall as a district manager, possibly. And so that is a really great opportunity that she's been able to earn herself through being a branch manager. So it's not official yet, but it's definitely something that is in the conversation right now. Kevin had told me, and so it's more likely than not happening for her. So really, really fired up for her in that regard. Um, and then also Pasadena was the number one pilot office last week, selling $67,000. I would love for us to be able to get back on this next week, the top three FFY district managers, be able to get back on that list, and that would be awesome. Now, going through personal sales, people that sold over $1,000 recognized on the newsletter. Going into the fall, it's going to be $750. Then you'll be recognized on the newsletter if you sell $750. And then these are the weekly pace setters. The 5K pace setter, Deanna's at 9 straight weeks. 4K, Deanna's done it 85 straight weeks, which is pretty fired up. And then we're going to 3K. Deanna's done it for 318 straight weeks. And then also a really cool thing, Michael Southard up in Washington, from where my original hometown, 546 straight weeks of $2,000 sold. And then we all, of course, have Michael Lemaster at 1,015 straight weeks of $1,000 sold. And these type of people that you see on those pace setters, those top pace setter people, they're most, I believe a lot of them will be at the Conference of Champions. Michael Southard actually might not be because that is during the Washington State Fair during that conference. So
Oh,
unfortunately, they do have to stay up there for that time period. But there are some representatives, some CSPs that do come down, such as Anastasia Esquivel. I know that she commonly comes down for Conference of Champions from Seattle's office, my original office, and she's the one that has 259 straight weeks of 1,000 buckaroonies sold. And then the new promotions that were recognized on the newsletter this last week. We had Opal Lansky achieving her advanced sales representative promotion for the Central Coast Champions, getting to that 20% level. Really fired up for her and excited for her to move on to that advisor promotion very soon. And then we have the Assistant Manager Grand Day Contest. This was just recently released. If you're an assistant manager, you can be able to, if you sell a grand during the time periods of August 19th, so it started just yesterday, to September 15th. If you sell a grand in a day, like having a grand day, and you enter it into Vector Connect at the Conference of Champions, you will be entered into a drawing that will be able to have you win $1,000 cash if you win it. And so it's very, very fired up. Definitely a very awesome, encouraging thing. If you sell like, a homemaker set in a day, that's considered a grand day, right? And so then you can be able to be entered in for that raffle that will be taking place at the Conference of Champions. Then we have the summer campaign All-American Scholarship contenders. We have four different representatives that are currently students that are right now in the running in the Western region for winning that All-American Scholarship. Really fired up. Isaac Laurelin, somebody that had been mentioned multiple times at SC2. He's at $45,000 sold. I'm pretty sure he's hit 5K just this last week or 50K this last week. I'm really fired up though. He's in the top 20 representatives in the nation. Top 50 make it for the summertime. And then these are the Top Gun trophies for the representative. So from April 29th to September 1st. So we've got another about 12 to 13 days here. And so whatever you sell basically in that time period, you can be able to get rewarded a trophy in Vegas. These are the Summer Excellence Awards. So there's some badass K bars, 1-star captain, 2-star major, 3-star colonial, and the 4-star general. And these are the people so far that have won these awards thus far. I know that there's going to be some people from the Central Coast Champions that will be getting the 1-star captain and 2-star majors here pretty soon. So really fired up to hopefully see those names on this list here in the next couple weeks. And then moving on in to the trophy race for the Conference of Champions. It's going through the top 10 new representatives, as well as the top two first full year managers. Nick Burns has officially been put into number one because Niam Preeter closed his office just recently. And so all I see is opportunity. So I really hope that we can be able to finish out the summer strong and be able to take home the number one trophy at Vegas miraculously. Be pretty fired up if we can make a comeback like that. Be a hell of a story. Now going in, we have the top divisions. Currently, South Coast is taking over within new business as well as the total business. But this is a week delayed. So after this last week, I definitely think it is going to be a little bit closer within the new business category and the total business. That is what we have so far. And then the summer campaign fast start records, something I'm really proud of. Our Central Coast champions is still the owner of the fast start record holder. Which really fired up is that we have had for 3 straight campaigns, we have been the home of the fast start record holder for our division, which is really fired up. So in the summer campaign, we had Randy Angoglia. She sold $11,000 in her first 10 days. And then in the springtime, we had Justin Castanon selling, I believe, 7K. And then we had in the fall, we had Michael Willman with his fast start of 6K last year. And so we've been the owner of the fast start record holder every single campaign, the last 3 campaigns. Would love to be able to continue that going into the fall, making it 4 straight campaigns, which would mean that we'd had it for a straight over a year, which would be pretty fired up. And then we have going into the Western Region Phone Jam leaders. These are the leaders and the times for the Phone Jam in the next week here. Tyler Stewart, somebody in the LA division that's been really thriving. Just recently at the summer conference too, got his 20K promotion. Also, I see Michael Casaro as well on there for the demo setting leaders, which is really fired up. And what do you know? He's a demo setting leader, and he made his sell this last week, so it's really fired up. So I definitely will say that when you get your name up on here as a demo setting leader, more likely than not, that's the person that's going to be making sales, right? And so definitely attending these phone jams is definitely a good beneficial thing for you. Now on the board this last week, we had both Mikes on the board. We had Mike Casaro and Michael Willman both getting on the board this last week. And then recognizing the Central Coast promotion. So it's recognized in the summer conference number 2, but Opal Lansky getting her advanced sales representative promotion of 3K. And then this is the standings of the 2025 calendar year for the top 5. Michael Willman at $27,013 sold. Randy Ngoglia at $12,942. Justin Castanon, $9,114. Lindsay McGaughy, $8,779. And Noah Oski, $6,906. Now, what the heck? It like skipped a bunch of slides. All right.
It,
So, now moving on in. Let's see. There we go. So going into the 7 habits of highly effective people. Okay, so this is the last talk that I'll be talking about within this team meeting here. This is just going through the book authored by Stephen F. Covey. It's a great book. I honestly, when I learned about this book at a very, very early age, I went to a private elementary school, and they really taught this to me in first grade, which is pretty spectacular. But they taught these 7 habits back then, and so over the years, I've been able to read the book again when I was in college. Overall, this is just a little report going through the 7 habits of highly effective people. So, starting off with number one, be proactive. So, take responsibility for your life and actions and focus on what you can control rather than what you can't. All right, and so proactive people take the initiative. They act instead of being acted upon. Being proactive means taking radical responsibility for your problems instead of giving energy to circumstances and things beyond your control. Right. And so it's a very valuable thing that my former district manager, Austin Oberbillig, taught me when I first started the job. I had troubles with like dealing with anxiety and stress and stuff like that. And so overall, he taught me, whenever you're going through some sort of anxiety time, you want to really identify, the things that are within your control, the things that are out of your control, and push away the things that are out of your control in your life. Don't focus on them because those are things that are out of your control, right? And then take the time to really focus in on what is in your control and what you can do, right? And so oftentimes I like to say that, there's a big problem with mental health, in this world. And ultimately, a big leading part of that is because of the fact that people get so caught up in the things that are out of their control. They spiral out over it and they complain about it, right? And so overall, the biggest thing that you can do whenever you're feeling really anxious is just take a moment, breathe, and figure out, identify the things that are in your control versus out of your control. Take responsibility and take action on the things that are within your control. Number two, begin with the end in mind. Define your goals and purposes in life and use them as a guide to make decisions and prioritize your actions. Now, how do you want to be remembered? Beginning with the end in mind means clarifying our goals and values to guide our actions. Right now, quote from the book, it's incredibly easy to get caught up in an activity trap, to work harder and harder climbing the ladder of success, only to discover what it's leaning against the wrong wall. Right. And so really the biggest thing is whenever you start something and you work for something, you want to begin with the end goal in mind. Right. And so really identifying and clarifying what you want to accomplish before you start the action. Right. Because if you're just doing action, you don't have a goal in mind, that you're kind of aimlessly working. Right. And so you want to have structure and you want to have something that you're working towards. Number three, putting first things first. So prioritizing your time and energy on essential things in your life and learn to say no to less important things. All right, so putting first things first is the practical execution of habits one and two. You must be proactive and use your guiding principles to determine the most important activities in front of you and execute them accordingly. Right. So one thing I can say, within team meeting, right? And so it's like if your friends go ask you and say, hey, buddy, I want to let's go out to a movie at, 7 p.m. during the team meeting, right? You gotta say no to that. You gotta hold your commitments because, ultimately you need to put first things first. You need to be responsible, right? And overall, people will respect you for that. When you say no and you're holding your responsibilities, people will ultimately respect you a hell of a lot more because you're holding and you're upholding your responsibilities and you're putting the first things first, right? And so overall, that is a big key thing. Number four, think win-win. It's one of my favorite habits. Seek mutual benefit in all interactions and relationships and look for solutions that benefit all parties involved. An abundance mentality is necessary to create a win-win situation. Abundance mentality is the belief that there is enough of everything to go around, including resources, opportunities, and success. All right, so the biggest key thing is you always want to seek in every single interaction. This could be for anything in life, sales, it could be just relationships, whatever it is. You always want to have a situation where both parties involved are winning, right? And so you don't want to have it be a one-sided win-lose. You're not going to get far in life with that. You're not going to build good relationships with that, right? A lose-lose is the worst too, right? Don't want to create those situations there, or a lose win where you're losing and the other person's winning, right? And you're not taking into consideration your own things. So you really want to do your absolute best to create a win-win scenario. Every single time any interaction you have, you want to have it be where, hey, how can I win? And how is this person I'm communicating with, how can they win as well? What can I do to create a situation where we're both winning, right? Number five, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Listen empathetically and seek to understand others' perspectives before expressing your own. You must listen actively and empathetically before communicating your own views. Listen with the intent to understand, not to respond. In doing so, you can cultivate trust and respect with others. Seeking to understand requires being open minded and non judgmental and avoiding imposing your biases and assumptions to others. The result is improves communication, deeper relationships, and more effective collaboration. And Stephen Covey, a quote from it: "You've spent years of your life learning how to read and write, years learning how to speak, but what about listening?" All right. So it's overall, I think that commonly, in a lot of interactions when people talk to each other, what they're doing is, they're not actually listening to the person that's talking. A lot of times, what they're doing is they're kind of half listening, and they're trying to, while they're half listening, they're already thinking about a response, what to say before the person's even finished what they're saying, right? And so overall, I think it's a great quote. I think it was from possibly Tony Robbins, but or it might be from somebody else, but it's be interested, become interesting, right? And so if you are if you're interested in others, you're automatically yourself going to become more interesting, right? Because there's a lot of people in today's society that they don't really care. They're so focused in on what is going on in their life, right? They're not, really caring about what's going on in others' lives. But the people that are out there in this world that are really, they're asking questions, they're really they're listening, right? To when people are talking, those people automatically make themselves stand out and become more interesting, right? And so the biggest thing is you really, really want to make sure that whenever you're having conversations with people or interactions with people, you really want to try to seek first to understand what they're saying, right? Before you start coming up with a response, then you can be understood after you've created a response. Take time with conversation. Habit number six, synergize. Work collaboratively with others to achieve goals and create outcomes more significant than any individual could achieve alone. The synergize habit emphasizes the power of collaboration and encourages us to look for opportunities to work together to create outcomes greater than the sum of their parts. A quote from the book: "The key to valuing differences is to realize that all people see the world not as it is, but as they are." Right. So I think overall, people can go a lot further when they work together. Right. I mean, of course, there's some people that are really individualistic. They like to do things on their own. Right. But overall, I think doesn't matter if a person's individualistic, right? A team can accomplish more than an individual, right? And that goes for about anything in life. You can look into sports. I love sports, so we can talk about sports, right? Somebody that I have been reading up on is Magic Johnson, right? I've been reading a book, an autobiography about Magic Johnson. He is like the king of synergy, right? He really built amazing chemistry within the teams that he played on, right? And so he overall synergized the team and he worked collaboratively with the team. He passed the ball constantly. If anybody, I read all the time, if someone's open, they're getting the ball, right? And his teammates had to be making sure that they were turning their head when they're running down the court, because if they didn't turn their head and they were open, they're going to have the ball hitting the back of their freaking head, right? And so overall, Magic was always hitting the open man when he played basketball, right? And so overall, a team will, build success. And I mean, it goes to show in Magic Johnson's career, he played 11 seasons in the NBA. Out of those 11 seasons, he made it to 9 NBA finals. He won five of them, right? And so that really kind of showcases when someone synergizes, plays team basketball, isn't selfish and passing the ball, and is a great facilitator, and really creates that synergy within a team. Anything is possible and success can be created. Number seven, sharpen the saw. Take time to renew and improve yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for continued success. Sharpening the saw means continually honing our personal development through deliberate actions that renew and recharge our energy. The result is a happy, holistically healthy, and effective individual. the more we see people in terms of their unseen potential, the more we can use our imagination rather than our memory. Right. And so overall, I think, one thing that I can say personally for myself, like I try to sharpen the saw with myself when it comes to physically by going to the gym and just creating a good routine and making sure I'm going to the gym 4 times a week minimum. Just because I know that, as a manager, I gotta look good physically. I feel like it's a good first impression when people walk in and they see that I'm a fit person. And also I think, mentally, emotionally, spiritually reading books, self-help books, all this kind of stuff that, trying to fill my cup up so that I can be able to fill the cups of others, right? And so sharpening your saw and becoming and just looking into every single day, having deliberate action that makes you get even better and making sure that you're, building up your energy so you can be able to be the most efficient person and the most effective person in your life is very, very key. And that is the 7 habits of highly successful people. So I would say one habit, I'll just go through. I would love to see what you think, Mike, on what one habit you would love to work on more within your life, one that you think would be a good thing to kind of focus in on. But one I would say that I really would love to focus in on more is just seeking first to understand than to be understood. I think oftentimes I am constantly thinking it's a bad habit, but I'm constantly thinking about what I'm going to respond with rather than really taking the time to listen. And so oftentimes I just think that I really need to be listening actively and empathetically, and not really putting out my ideas and stuff like that before it's even, coming out. So I think that's something that I really need to work on. It's habit number 5, seeking first to understand then to be understood. But what do you think, Mike? What would you say is a habit that you would like to improve on?
Um, I would.
Right, and so that is the end of our team meeting. Let's finish out this last couple weeks of the summer strong. Thank you for the time, taking the time for the team meeting. And also, if you have not scheduled a PC with me for this week, please make sure to do that. I have availabilities going through all of tomorrow. So if there's anybody that has not scheduled a PC, please plot out a time for this upcoming Thursday, August 21st.